what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. More Blood and Plunder here as we work our way through the last few of the unlined and peripheral powers lists. Today we got a nice simple one for you, and that's the Brandenburg Privateers. So we do get some pretty quirky factions here in this whole selection. So if you're looking for something that isn't just the major powers like, England, France, and Spain, you got plenty of really cool and unique choices here. Now, got a bit of a history to them, so by all means read up on that, as they did enter the slave trade. But this is not a force that was active for very long, as you can see, so all of 2 years, but nonetheless presents some interesting things that we can do on the tabletop. So let's take a look at the list then. So special rules, they have, we've seen this one I think a couple times before, but basically when you're taking a strike test, the force's commander can choose to roll 2d10 and then choose the result. So essentially giving us more opportunities to pass the strike test and not fail. Can't really see a reason why we'd want to fail it. And then also all the units in the force with the artillery crew special rule have the expert artillery crew special rule instead, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Now our force selection here, we don't get too many units, and it's pretty heavily skewed towards the core forces, so really just get the one support unit, but that's a-okay because Enter Plague is a good unit too. So we get European sailors, we get the Seeleden, the Capers, and then again the Enter Plague as the support. So heavily skewed towards the Dutch selections there, but we do get the generic European sailors as well. NEC Commander or Cornelius Rears as a special character. So certainly we're going to be favoring the amphibious scenarios and naval engagements, but we can still do some work on land as well. Now, if we're playing at the army scale, we just have the one ally, as it might make sense here, and that's the Danes. So we have that. Now, let's jump in a little bit more with the units. And normally we'd be reviewing all the individual units separately here, but just to point out to you guys who's got artillery crew and who's getting the free upgrade there. So real briefly here, guys, if you take a look at all the individual units, there's just a few that are artillery crew, and they will obviously get the upgrade to expert artillery crew. The rest already have expert artillery crew, so they can't be, expert level 2 essentially. But basically, your entire force is expert artillery crew, so you can bring cannons as you feel, and really just customize which unit you feel needs to have that on deck as well. So it's a neat little list. Again, it's going to do some work for us. The European sailors just gives us a nice solid unit there, but the Dutch units really help plug in again some of the just good ground pounding units, and we'll take a look at them again here just in a little bit of detail, just so we can see that. Normally again we'd save that separately, so we'll take a look at the sailors first, and then we'll kind of just flip to the Dutch section. So our European sailors here, they're going to be starting off at trained. We get pistols and standard melee weapons. Overall, pretty good fight and shoot values, although, again, we're not really dealing long-range damage here. These guys will be getting the expert artillery crew. They're sailors, as you might expect. And then they also come with battle-hardened. Here we can upgrade to veterans. We get plenty of upgrade options as well, though, if we want to swap out pistols for muskets, etc. We can get stink pots or fire pots, even grenades, and hell, even bring in the blunderbuss. Now, another one, if we want to just get some good fighters here for the cheap, we can just downgrade to just basically have swords only, but we have to leave them at the trained level. Can't have them inexperienced or veterans, so just some of the funky upgrade paths that we have available, but nonetheless, a good unit in the list. Alrighty guys, and then the final 3 units are essentially the first 3 choices that we get under the Dutch. So our Seeleden here, starting at pistol and standard melee weapon, not as good at shooting as some of the others. They're started as trained as well, but here we get our expert sailors, already expert artillery crew, and hard chargers, so these guys will definitely kick some butt in close combat. We can get them up to veterans. Again, we could swap out for the blunderbuss, stink pots, fire pots, and grenades as well. We could go with muskets here, but doesn't seem as good given their base stat of 7 for shooting. And again, we have the option to go super cheap and leave them at trained and just go with swords only if you really just want to bring in quantity while still maintaining the quality for fighting, but just a whole lot of dudes with swords. Capers are going to be our baseline long-range unit. Trained muskets and standard melee weapons. Pretty good in fighting too, not to take anything away from them, because these guys actually get brawlers. Expert sailors, again, more of that. Artillery crew, which again, they'll get upgraded to expert. And here we can go vets, and then basically if we take a larger unit, we can pack in lots of blunderbusses. Sensing a theme here, right? We could bring a whole lot of blunderbusses to the table across all of our units. And then finally, the Enter Plague. Again, if we're pronouncing that remotely correctly, hopefully. These guys already start at vets. Brace of pistols, so we're never going to run out. No reloads there. Standard melee weapon. These guys are superlative at fighting, right? Starting at a 5 already, and pretty good at shooting, and really good leadership. Just a phenomenal unit. Sadly, not that they need it. I guess it would probably put them over the top, but if we could just imagine these guys having like hard chargers and or brawlers, they would just be ridiculous. But more stink pots and fire pots here. 1 and 4 at no cost, actually, and grenades for 4 points per model if we go that route. And again, 1 and 4 could have a blunderbuss at no cost. So we're getting just tons of good options here for this Dutch force, or for these Dutch units in our force selection here. So there you have it, guys. That's a quick look at the Brandenburgers. So again, heavily Dutch flavored with a little bit of the generic European sailors mixed in. So really a pretty potent list here. Gonna really kick some serious butt up close and in combat, and the whole list is expert sailors, or sorry, not expert sailors, but expert artillery crew, but plenty of expert sailors across the board as well. So, and some really great close combat ability. Let us know, guys, if you've run the Brandenburgers, how you've fared on that, how you've kitted out the force with all these options, and then what lists you've gone against and where you've had your successes and where you've struggled. Hit us up in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you for more Blood and Plunder action.